So up until now, we've been studying sort of various pieces of how to organize data in your code, right? We talked about the fact that there are values in programs, numbers, strings, booleans. We talked about some operations that you can perform on numbers, arithmetic operations, right? We talked about the concatenation operator, the plus, which allows you to stick strings together. We talked about Boolean operations, and then we talked about if-else conditions that allow us to basically, in our code, say only run this code if this condition happens to be true. Let's see, what else did we do? We talked about naming values, right, as constants. So you can do const, give it a name, and then make an assignment, not an equal, but an assignment to a value. And now whenever you use that name, it refers to that value. Fine. Then we talked about the fact that, okay, but if you want to organize more complex pieces of data, just having strings and numbers isn't enough. You need to create a sequence of values, for example, a list of values. And for that, we talked about arrays. So an array is just a list, right? It's a list with indexes. And the indexes always begin with 0. So the first value in the array is at index 0. And the last value in the array is the array.length minus 1. Conversely, the length of the array is the last index plus 1. All right? Okay. Then we talked about the fact that you can modify values within an array, right? So you can, in the same way that you can take an index to read a value out, you can take an index but make an assignment to another value, and that will replace the value at that index with whatever you assign. We then talked about objects. So objects allow you to create further complicated structures. So an object, really, at the end of the day, is just a grouping of key value pairs. A name, a value. A name, a value. So think of an object as this magic store, okay? So it has a bunch of key value pairs. When you want a value, you tell the key, it gives you the value, okay? So if the key is age and the value is 15, if you say, give me age, it gives you 15. No problem. You can modify an object further along. You can say, now I want to add this other key called, I don't know, first name, and I want it to be Joe. And then later, if you ask for first name, you get back Joe. No problem. And the fundamental principle that we're working with here is that the individual pieces that we're talking about, every little one of these things that I talked about, is actually a very simple concept. It's something you could explain to a 5-year-old kid, actually, if you really put some time in. Understanding individual concepts is not difficult. What's difficult is remembering them, understanding them well enough, so that you can begin to combine them together properly and produce more and more complexity, which is ultimately where we're going. Believe it or not, there's not a lot left. There are a few more fundamental concepts, functions, and a few other things, and looping that we'll get into, and once you know those, you will basically have everything you need to build any application you want, as far as programming knowledge. The complexity then will be trying to put all of that knowledge together in different ways, in different combinations, right? So we're getting there. We're on our path. So I asked you guys to, in this assignment, to first create an array of objects. So let's do that. So first of all, we need a name for this array, right? Just so we can refer to it, we can work with it. So let's create a name, const A, why not? Or let's give it a different name. I'm tired of A. Array 1. Cool. Okay. So the first part says create an array. How do I create an array? Right? Boom, boom. Done. I created an array. So far I've done that much, right? Up until here. So an array of arrays. In other words, a list of lists. So in this array, I have to put arrays, right? Okay, so let's put some arrays in. How do I put an array into this? One thing though is, if I just do this, if I did this, it's just harder to read. By indenting it, by doing this, it makes it clear that these are inside of this. Anytime in code you have a notion of one thing being inside of another, the thing that is inside should be slightly to the right of the thing you are under. Okay? It makes it easier to read. Okay, so let's put 3 arrays, because we like that, why not? You know what, let's put 4 arrays, just because we're crazy today. Okay, so far we've done this much. We created an array, there it is, of arrays. Oh, did I say arrays? Of arrays, sorry, my grammar. Array of arrays, it's plural. And then within each of this array, we need objects, right? Okay, so within this object, I need a bunch of, within this array, I need to put objects. How do I create an object? Curly braces, boom, that's an object. One more. One more. Okay, now let me do the same for the other guys. It doesn't have to be 3, by the way. I just wrote 3 for fun. Okay, now each one of these objects, each of the objects, so now we're at number 2, should represent a person. So a person has some basic properties, right? Like a name, you know, a phone number, an age, that sort of thing. So, but just for this example, and not to take up too much room, let me just put name, just so I don't blow this thing up. But you can imagine adding more key value pairs as you go. So let me say name, Joe. Let's have this have a name of Mike, and have this have a name of Joe. Okay. Fine so far? Okay, so I just keep going. So then I give this one a name of Bill. I give this one a name of Bob. And I give this one a name of, what other American name can I come up with? Marco. Wait, Marco's in there. Okay. Alright. Then, name, Baruch. Name, Good, Sevak. Lilith. Name, wow, this is getting crazy. Saben. Keep going. Okay. Arkazi. Okay. Okay. So what I have here is an array. Look. Can the people in the back read this? Yeah, it's okay. So what I have here is an array of arrays, right? This array contains a bunch of arrays. Each one of those arrays then contains within it a bunch of objects. Each object contains a name and value pair. Zuik. Anun, name, irakan narzek. It's Zuik. Name, value, etc. Yes? Okay. So that covers this, number 2. Number 3, console log the name of the second person in the third array. Is this the third array? No. Is this the third array? The last one is the third array? The last one is index 3. But what is the third? Yerote burada. You're right that the index for the first one is 0. But I didn't say what index. I said, get me the third one. The third one is this one, right? Okay. So what index do I have to use on array 1 in order to access this third value? 2. Good. So I'm going to go and say console.log array 1, and then I'm going to say 2. Okay, so that will return to me this array, right? This whole thing. Then within that array, I have to return the second person. What is the name of the second person? Sevak, this guy, right? Okay, so how do I get the second person? What index is this? 1. Good. And I get, wait, so this will just give me the object, right? This whole object. Now from this object, I need to get Sevak. Sevak. This is what I wanted. Hands up if you got something pretty close to what I wrote. Okay, I'm noticing a trend, like half the class tends to be getting it, the other half so-so. Okay, for the half that is so-so, please come to office hours. Please come to office hours. Okay, let's also do some more exercises just to get you guys going, and then I'll move on to other concepts. Okay, so I want to create an object and give it a name, Joe. What do I do? Curly braces. Cool. Okay, I want Joe to have a first name called, give me a name, David. How do I give him a first name? Dot? Science? It's called a semicolon. No, semicolon is this. This is called a colon. Colon is a semicolon is a. Okay. So colon, then what? Science? As a string. Good. Okay. Now I want to add another key value pair to Joe. What do I do? Comma. Storaget. Comma. And I want David to have a last name, Mikhailian. I don't know what's super common. Okay. How do I do that? Cool. I want David to have an age of whatever value you guys give me. How do I do that? 16? Fine, 16. He's 16. Okay, cool. Now, so I do console.log. I want to log Joe's full name.
No, Joe.first name.
Okay. First name, Heto.
Plus empty brace.
I know you know. Who else? I'll say. What should I do? Tanrı anlamındayız be. O zaman David Mikhail'e.
Plus space.
Plus space. String space. Yeah, like that. Okay, now what? Pagesi. Plus. Joe. Dot. I'm done? Why am I not done? That's right. There's an open parentheses here, right? So I have to close it here.
And semicolon.
And semicolon. David Mikhailian. There it is. Cool? Okay, now here, it was David's birthday. Happy birthday, David. Happy birthday
Can you
to
say
you.
Aram instead of David?
Is it actually Aram's birthday?
Yes.
Aram? Vay can. Happy birthday. Şu da sayı, miyatsney. Okay, look. Aram can. Şuna bak, sağ ol. Aram can. Can. Okay. Aram, what did you become? What did you become? 18. You're legal. You can go to bars. Right. Okay. So look. He used to. No, I know. He used to be 17. We console logged up Aram Can. Mirobe. Adam. Cisza? Oh, okay. Adam. Wait. I'm going to concatenate with this with the string. Yeah, cool. Okay, then, now that it's his birthday, we want to change his age. Watch what we can do. I can say Joe.age is equal to, the variable is Joe, the constant is Joe. But okay, we're going to say Joe.age plus 1.
Can we write plus one?
Yeah, but not now. Joe.age plus 1. And we're assigning that to the age. You get what I did there? So I took the original age of Aram, which was 17, right? So this was 17, right? I added a 1, and now Aram became, you are now Joe.age. You are now 18, and let's add some exclamation points and hearts. Okay, something like this. When you guys go home today and your mom's like, hey, what did you learn in class? You're like, oh, I learned like hearts and happy birthdays. Smiley faces. Okay, so is that clear? Any questions about the code that I wrote and what I did here? Nothing? Okay, Aram is a good guy. He's going to have friends. Yeah, Hajim.
Here, can we do a shortcut instead of combining the code Joe the first name plus Joe the last name?
Sure. A shortcut. What are you thinking? What kind of a shortcut?
Like instead of writing all this code.
You could take that code and put it into a reusable function, which we'll talk about later. And then this code would just call that function and you would get it. But you still have to write the code for that function. But again, we'll talk about functions next class. If we don't have a quiz. Yes?
Why did you put plus signs inside of it?
Inside of what, John?
So when it's written you are now
Yes.
string Joy,
Yes.
so the plus signs are inside of the string.
No, they're not. The string starts here, ends here. That gets concatenated with this, which is 17. That returns this value. You know that? Right? You follow it?
Yeah. You just
And-
strange the plus signs were inside.
Okay, but it's you see that it's not, yes? Wait, you still think they're inside?
No, I
Hang on.
see the entire string now, so that's okay.
Okay. But pausa. Pausa. Right. Here, let me add a space just so it's clear that they're not. Look, the string is this. This is a string. And this is a string. This is not a string. This is the stuff in between. Jokes? Cool. Other questions or concerns about this code? We're good? We're clear? Okay. So now we want to add friends to Aram, whose constant is Joe. So how do I add some friends? Tell me. Joe.friends equals a list, because he's going to have more than one. A list. Great, I made it a list. Now let me fill that list with some people. How do I represent the person? An object, yeah. So an object can contain what kind of values? You tell me. I mean for a person. First name. Adam Jeff, who's a friend you have? Adam. Seriously, dude?
Yes.
Alright, Adam. Number 2. Okay, last name. Last name, Adam? Azat. Yeah. Just okay, then you don't need number 2 because you have a last name too, right? Obviously. Okay, that's what the last name is for. Alright, one more friend. Are you serious? Do you guys hang out in packs? It's like, hey, I want to be your friend. What's your name? Adam? Come on.
We have an array of Arams.
An array of Arams, exactly. Aram Can. Azat. Yeah. Espes? A-S-T. S. Eta. Good. Okay. So, now... yes, thank you for yelling at me. Exactly, yes, good. Okay. I love that you guys know this. So now, let me print the second friend that Adam has their full name. No, you know what? No. No. Here's what we're going to do. Let's print the names of the people who are going to go to his birthday party. Specifically, let's just say today, just today, you're only going to have 2 people at your birthday party. So, we're going to say console.log going to a party, and then we're going to console.log the name of your first friend's full name. Asek. Joe. Edo. 0. So we take the first friend. So in other words, right now we have this object, right? And then plus space, right? Joe dot friends dot. Oh. Is Vaskin here? No, he's not here. Okay, don't worry. Dot last name. Okay, now what? Close and semicolon. Yeah, good. All right. So now we have going to party. Adam Azata. Nice. We have one more individual. Adam, us. The second Adam. Right? So console.log. And we basically do exactly the same thing. Except instead of the 0, we have the 1. Right? So, oh, I know. Let's make a mistake. Oh wait, this is not going to be a fun mistake, because they're all Adam anyway. Okay, alright, so let's do 1, 1. Okay, there. Going to party, the 2 Adams. 2 Adam John's party. There you go. Cool. Yes?
I'm a little bit confused because I don't know when to use Ireland for the races and when to use the mixture of them.
Sure. Okay, no problem. Look, you use an array when you need an order. Right? So you just have first thing, second thing, third thing, fourth thing, and you want to get the fourth thing or you want to get the second thing. Okay? Anytime you have that kind of a situation, you need a list. Give me an example in any application where you've used, any application, that you think they're probably using a list underneath in the code. Facebook friends. That might be a list, right? That's an easy one. Give me another example.
Instagram followers. YouTube search.
Instagram follow. Okay, that's also a list of people.
YouTube search.
YouTube search. When you type a search in Google, in YouTube, or Google actually, in either any search, right? It goes to the server and comes back with a list of results, right? A list of results. And that result renders in a particular order. When you get a bunch of results from Google, have you noticed that the first thing is the most accurate thing, the second thing is the less accurate? Basically, it's sorted from most accurate to least accurate. Have you noticed? Okay. So you need that order, right? You need to know that index 0 is the first thing. Index 1 is the second thing. So give me one more example of a list where you think they're ordered using a list. Any application you've used. Items in the wish list, exactly. You go to a shopping cart, right? You go to Amazon or you go to Menu.am. Any site that has a shopping cart where you're adding items to it has a list of stuff, right? When you add something, it gets added to the end of your shopping cart. Wait, Spasi, how much meter? An array is just brackets, no curly braces. So just 1 second. Okay? That's it. So an array is just brackets with stuff inside. Curly braces are something else. If you want to represent an object is a complicated value. It's not just a number or a string. It's a thing that has like 5 numbers, 25 strings, 35 other objects that then have a bunch of arrays, right? If you want to build up complicated structures, data structures that have data in them, you need an object, okay? And the way to create an object is just by, an array is brackets, yes? Objects are curlies. Yes?
I have a question about if we can create like an app by using only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
that's how, yes, absolutely. Yeah, yes. The answer is yes. Yes. Okay, other questions or concerns? Yes.
Can you add pairs inside an object?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, there is Arem as a 10, I want to add his age.
You want to add his?
Age.
Of course. So we can say, okay, good. So let's add an age to the second friend. How do I do that? Tell me. Joe.friends. Age like this. What does Joe.friends return? What is Joe.friends? It's this array. I can't do .age on the array. I have to take an index from an array. Remember, guys, anytime you're getting something from an array, you use this. If you're getting something from an object, you use dot. Just memorize that, okay? So, friend is an array. How do I get the second friend from that array? One, good. Because remember, we start with index 0. So that gives me this friend here. So now, I do .age, okay, and I assign an age. How old are you? 18, John. Voila. Cool? Let's add something fun. Before Adam was 18, if Joe.age is greater than or equal to 18, console.log, you can find me in the club. Okay? Else, console.log, yeah, go do your homework. Okay. So, when he was 17, what would happen in this condition?
He would go to home.
Go do your homework, this one. Right? Okay. So then, if we copy this code and we move it down here after we increment his age, after we update his age by 1,
He can go to
so what? Because here he's 17, so he can go do his homework. Then, birthday, and you can find him in the club. There it is. Joe. Yes. Yes. Fine. Yes.
So, and we want to type all those things. Do we really need to go like dot first name, dot last name?
You want to type all those things? What do you mean? Oh, you want to print it on the console?
Yeah, like console log, Joe.
Okay, no, there is a way to do it. I'm hesitant to tell you guys because it requires a function call, which you haven't learned yet. But if you really care, okay, I'll show you, and then I'll explain what that is once we learn functions. You can do this, console.log, json.stringify, Joe. There you go. There you go. Okay?
Asi toString-나 կանչում ոնց որ սրա
No,
օբյեկտի։
toString չկա բան։ I mean toString կա, բայց toString-ը object ասկացում։ JSON-ը stringify-ը վերածում է JSON-ի։ Again, the reason why I'm not showing you this is because there are lots of concepts in this that you don't know yet, including what the heck this is. But we will get there. But did I answer your question? So there is a way, but I'll tell you later. Okay? Huh? What does the what? The second parameter? I don't know. I honestly don't know what the second parameter is. I never used it either. I just Google it and Google it. This means put 2, but there's no formatting here. I have to put a pre-tag, blah, blah, blah. Okay, don't worry.
Sorry, can we take an information from object, like we write the indexes, not just the dots and the name of a key?
You mean doing this? Like this?
No, with like 0. Joe, 0.
No. Because what is 0? When you do this, look. Wait, sorry, what the heck? Sorry. Okay, when you do this, this means use the key whose name is 0. Do you see a 0 in here?
Key whose name is
Well, the key 0. Is there a 0 here? No. Gotcha.
Okay, Joe and first name with like.
Okay, there is this syntax, but I don't want to confuse people because it's only JavaScript. In Java you don't have it, so I'm trying to...
I wonder if we have like several things. For example, in first name we have another object or we have an array. So we should write with all the
Dot,
dots.
yes. And no, the arrays use brackets, for the objects use dots.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to say this one more time. Please remember, if you're using an array, to access a member of that array, you use brackets and the index of that item that you want. If you have an object, you do dot key name to get the value. Objects use dots, arrays use brackets. Got it? Good. Other questions, concerns? Should I keep going? Yes?
Last time you were talking about debugger. What was that?
Yes. But I need to run locally. I promise to explain that in an upcoming class. Okay? I promise. I said upcoming, not next. Other questions not relating to are we going to have a quiz? Yes?
So in the previous example, when you the if condition.
Oh, wait, it was this.
Yeah. So can we do, like if we add there, so if we do another if condition, it changes to, you can find me in the class, but the go to your homework stays, right? Like if we add another one, after we change the age.
You're referring to, hang on, so we changed the age, and let's copy this and bring it down. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, copy this. We put it after the age has changed. Okay, tell me what you want to do.
So how can we do, like, for the go do your homework to like not be in the console? We just erase it?
Oh, you don't want the else conditions to do go your
I'm
homework?
trying to say, like, if Jose changes to 18, how can we do for it to automatically change the go to your homework to 55? Can we do that?
Automatically change the go do your homework to something else.
So like not having the first go to your homework, just have you
Just
can
have
find
you
me.
find it.
Okay. Rather than trying to think of what you can do programmatically, logically tell me what you want to do. What do you want to print, given which condition? Forget code. Just, I'm telling you, here's a person, and they have an age. Give me what you want to do with that. If they're 18, do this. If they're not, do that. If they're 17, do this other thing. Tell me what you want to do. Forget code. Don't look at code. What do you want to do?
So if they're 17,
Uh-huh.
just say go to your homework.
Okay.
But then if they become, when they become 18, I want to say you can find me in the club.
Right.
Not
So,
to say go to your homework.
okay. So look, if you know ahead of time that Joe is 17, you don't need the condition, right? We know that he's 17. So here we could just do this. Forget the if statements and just do this. And then here, just do this. Right? That would work. Now you might say, why did I have the if conditions? Just to train you guys on how to implement if conditions. Because later, you're not going to know the value of an object when it's given to you. You're just going to get an object, like from a server or somewhere, and you're going to want to categorize it either 18 or over or not. Imagine you're implementing an app for finding bars in Armenia, right? And there's, events in Armenia. Finding events. And so people have to first register with your site. So they give you like their, username, password, and their birth date, okay? Now when you find events, it doesn't make sense to show them events that they can't go to, right? Okay, So what makes sense is if they give you their birth date, you then figure out the age based on the current time minus that, right? That gives you the age. Then what you can do is, when you get the list of events, you can filter out the ones where it doesn't fit, right? So that's where you would need an if statement, right? This is what I'm just training you about this kind of a thing. Other was work-on-check loop Okay. Did I answer that? Okay, let's pause there. Sorry, I forgot what I was talking. Yeah, cool. Other questions or concerns regarding this stuff? It's clear? Okay. Let's see what time it is. Okay. Okay, let's do a few more exercises here because I really want to make sure. Hint. Please understand objects in multi-dimensional arrays. Please? Okay, let's do nested objects. So here's an object, const A.
Տնեցի լավ են։
Okay. So first of all, I want you to give me the code that would add a C3 to B containing an object, containing a message, normal. You guys get the assignment? Okay. Look, B has a key called C, a key called C1, and a key called C2, right? Give me the code, tell me what to write, in order for me to create another key called C3. As a value of that, it should be an object, where the message is normal. A dot B dot C. Wait, I want to know where she's going with this. Keep going. Normal, keep going. How else? Also. Okay. Is that right? No. Okay. Okay, give me another option. A dot B dot C3
Message.
You're awesome. Okay, someone said we could do this. C3 dot message. Why is this wrong? What's the problem with this? C3 chka. There is no C3 message. There is no C3. There's no object called C3. So if this doesn't exist and then you do dot message, you're trying to get a message of an object that does not exist. Okay, that's why or you could do this. You could do this too. A dot B dot C3 is an object, and then you can do A dot B dot C3, which is now the object, dot message should be normal. Fine. Why is this wrong? What would happen here? It will create an object? Be careful about the words you use. Huh? C match, it would do this. C3, what's the value of C3? This is what this code would do, which is not what we want, right? So we get rid of that. Good effort, though. We could either do this, or we could do a.b.c3 is an object which has a message called this, and these two are exactly the same. Do you see why? I make an object and I put a message into it, or I make an object with a message inside. Sure, but you could also do this, right? You could do this, and then you could say a.b.c3.message2 is whatever. Որը ճիշտ ես ասում, նույնը կարելի է նաև ստեղան։ Այսպես։
Այն միանգամից է բայց որ գրում ենք ավելի արագ չի աշխատի, որ հետո օբյեկտի մեջ չի ավելացնում ինքը։
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. But the difference is so, don't worry about things like that. Is that clear? Questions or concerns? Okay, I'm going to give you guys two options. One option is that we keep working on just objects and arrays and if conditions and just practice until the end of class. You will need this information. Hint. That's one option. However, if you feel like you got it, fine, like stop wasting my time, I want to learn new things, I'm paying good money to AUA, blah, blah, blah. Fine. We can move forward and learn another new concept that you won't be responsible for any near-term quizzes.
Second.
Okay, raise your hand if you like the first option of reviewing. Wow, this class is very evenly like 50-50, isn't it? Jesus. Okay, look. All right. Okay, we only have 20 minutes, well, 30 minutes actually. Okay, I'll spend 10 more minutes reviewing and then I'll give you a quick introduction to the next thing we're going to learn, for those of you who want to keep going, all right? Okay, I think that's a fair balance. Okay, those of you who raised your hands, who said, I got this is boring, whatever, when I ask a question, don't say anything. Okay? Let the people who are still trying to learn, and I mean, still answer the question in here, just don't give away the answer, okay? Actually, why don't we do this? Let's write some code, because everyone likes writing code, right? Even the people who didn't raise their hands. Let's do this. Create an object, hang on, create an object, put an object inside, put another object inside of that. Hang on. Create an object, put an object inside of that, put another object inside of that, put a message inside of the last one. There. Write that code. Write it accurately and remember about the formatting when you're writing code. Okay? Not doing right formatting in code is like, imagine not doing good formatting when you're doing a math equation. Imagine trying to add long numbers but not lining them up. It would be crazy. Same thing in programming. Adjust. If you feel like one thing is inside of another, indent it in. Yes.
Mən tartım, es որ օբյեկտինգ սարքում ինքը struct-նա թե class-նա բանի։ Ասկը stake ակցում էսի։
Միանգամից stake ակցում։ Go ahead. SMS and message of version. Yeah, you know what? Print the message at the end. Print the message. Oh, sorry. Thank you. So, who needs more time? Okay, so let's do this. First thing, create an object. Const A is equal to, how do I make an object? Boom, boom. Okay? If you ever read create an object, just that, done. The first part is done. Second part, put an object inside. How do I put an object inside of another object? What does an object need in order for me to give it a value? A name, a key, right? So that I can get that value back later. So let me give it a name. B, fine. And the value should be an object, right? How do I make an object? Perfect. What's the next thing? Put a message inside of the last one, the last object, that is to say, that I made. What's the last object I made?
Another object inside. Object.
Wait.
It's the same.
Put another object inside. Oh, sorry, I missed this one. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So we put another object inside. Okay. Then we put a message inside of the last one.
Right message.
Comma.
String.
Quote. Check out. Quote. And? Fine. Doesn't matter. Okay, cool. And the last thing was print the message. How do I print this message? Yeah? Parenthesis, not bracket. Parenthesis. Go. Am I done? Am I done?
No, semicolon.
Yes. No, semicolon. Okay, good. There it is.
Can we do the same thing, but like first I create just the first object, A, and then add.
Absolutely. So now that we've created all in one shot, let's do it in pieces. Here we made A. Now I want to add an object to A. Tell me what to do. The key. What do we want to call the key? B. Fine. I want to put something into it. What do I do? Assignment. And what? An object. Cool. Now I want to put an object into this one. What do I do? A dot, B dot. Okay. So now I want to put a message inside of this. What do I do?
Or we could just write a message and
Inside the
inside the curly brace. Write message on the second row.
Oh, this. Yeah, you're right. Or I could just do, you're right. I could do message,
Yes.
this, and not have to do this one, right? It's the same thing. Again, same thing. So you guys see how this is the same thing as this? Here I'm creating an object with the key value already inside. Here I'm creating the object and then adding the key value to it.
So B and C are just names.
Yeah. Uzmaz? Bir sitede arıyorsan Liana. Mesela Liana Anda. Mesela Liana. Mesela Panda, S եղավ Պողոս, S եղավ Լիանա, Panda, Պողոս, տպեցինք սա։
So the only pair here is Bogos and
No, everything is a pair, John, thank you. I image, դնում ենք Լիանա, որի արժեքը օբյեկտ է, չէ։ Անունը Լիանա, արժեքը օբյեկտ, զույգ։ Այս օբյեկտի մեջ դնում ենք panda օբյեկտ, այս Լիանայի մեջ, չէ, այս օբյեկտի մեջ, մենք դնում ենք panda օբյեկտ, զույգ։ Այս օբյեկտի մեջ մենք դնում ենք Պողոս, որի արժեքը տեքստ է, զույգ։ Ճոգի, չէ։ Cool. Was this easy? Yeah. I literally just heard yes, no. Okay. All right. One more, and then we can assume that you guys are great. I'll post some like practice things on Facebook. Please, especially if you're the other half that's having trouble, try to solve those problems. Okay, let's do a mix of arrays and objects. So let's do const baba is an object. Inside of that, there's a zudo, which is an array. Inside of zudo, there's a number, a 3, another number, a 5, and another array of containing 2 objects. Okay. Good. Okay. So, first question. How do I add a value to the end of zudo? Let me say it again. I want to add a value to the end of this array. Right. So I need to do baba dot zudo. Hello? Inch length, right? Let's. Inchy length. Baba inch. Zudui io dot length. If it was -1, I would. And what's the length of this? -1. If I set to -2, I would remove this and write the new value. Instead, I want to add another value at the end of the string. So here I will add, let's say, an 8 or 99. Sure. So now if I console.log baba.zudo.length, what should my length be now? 4. Good. So now what's happened is, after this line has executed, what happened was it did this inside the code. Pausa? Yes? Yes? Everyone got this? Okay. I think we're good as far as this stuff is concerned. How many people are still not exactly comfortable with this stuff? Raise your hand. Okay, you're lying. Okay, that's fine. Okay, it's okay. You don't have to raise your hand now, but come to office hours, please, 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 please. And if you have questions about something specific, you can write to me, Vazgen, Armen, we're all here. The whole team is here, okay? So, yes, sir.
What is the main difference between objects and arrays?
Okay, so an array is just an ordered list. Okay, so it just has first item, second item, third item, that's it. And the only thing you can do is say, give me the 5th item, or give me the 1st item, or give me the 10th item. That's all you can do. An object has no ordering whatsoever. It just says, give me a name and a value, and then later, when you ask for the name, I will give you the value. Josh? Other questions? We're good? Okay, now, relax. Forget about all this complexity, even though it's super simple. And let's talk about, where's my box? Let's talk about boxes. This is a box. Chill out. Okay, look. So this is a box. It has holes on both sides, as was noted by the gentleman in the back. The idea is that I can put things into the box, and I can get things out of the box. Okay? So I put things in through here, and I can get things out through here. Inside of this box, something happens. Something. We don't know what it is, but something. And let's say, for a moment, let me try to remember what this does. Okay. So let's say we put in a 4 and a 9. Okay? And let's suppose those are the sides of a triangle. Okay? What's going to come out of this side, magically, is the area of the triangle. Okay? So I can put any two numbers here, a base and a height, and out of this side will pop out the area of that triangle. It's function. And it's like, also, yeah, of course it's a function. You know, most other people don't know what that is. Okay, so this magic box knows how to accept some values, perform an operation inside. I don't know what it does, I don't care what it does, but then produces a result. Okay? Now it just so happens again that this box inside has code. For those of you who cannot see this, it's base. What do you suppose base is? Just in code, if you just see a name like that, what do you think it is? It's a name of a value, right? Okay, so we understand it. It's a name of a value. Fine. So this is a name of a value. That's a name of a value. What's this? What is that asterisk? It's an arithmetic multiplication operator, right? We know this. We know that we can multiply numbers. Yes, sir? Just as no drama. No. Okay, I'm going to copy what's here up here. One second. Okay, so the code inside that's written here inside of this box is what you see up there. Now, what's cool about this is you know what that is. It's some sort of a name of a value, right? You know what that is, again, a name of a value. You get that that's a multiplier, and you get that that divides the result by 2. All of this part, you already know. This is the new thing. Return. Return is what you call to push something out of this other hole. Okay? So, what's going to happen? I'm going to pass in these two, base and height, as input into the hole, and then it's going to return, give me back, push out, think of it however you want, the result of multiplying base times height and dividing it by 2. Okay? This box, the thing that does all of this magic, is called a function. You've studied functions in mathematics, I'm sure, so the name shouldn't be new to you. It's function. It's a function. Okay. So, how do you actually create a function? Well, guess what? You write the word function. Okay? Then you open and close parentheses. I'll explain what that is later. And then remember in an if statement we had this idea of a start and end? In an if statement, how do you specify the start and end of that block?
Curly braces.
Exactly. So you do the start of the function and the end of the function. And Now, just like any other value, we need to give it a name. How do you assign a name to a value in JavaScript? Exactly. So let's do const A is this function.
And we have to.
Wait. Remember how we did const B is 1? This means that B means 1. This is exactly the same. This is const A, which means function. So now, if you ever see A, it's referring to this function. Just like if you ever see B, it's B, it's referring to 1. Is that part clear? Now here we're saying return the result of base times height divided by 2. What you will notice though is there is no const base equals something, right? So let's make it. So let's say const base is, I don't know, what's a base? Das. Const height is 12. Fine. Okay. So we have a base of 10 and a height of 12, right? And we want to find the area of the triangle. Okay, like this. Okay, so we have this magic function. Just like notice after the one we put a semicolon, after the function. No, we do. We do. It's a value, just like a 1, a string, a 25. It doesn't matter. You do const name equals value semicolon. With me? Okay. Is there anything you haven't understood yet? You notice the only new thing that you see here is function. Everything else you already know. You know that, you know that, you know that. You just don't know return and function. And I just told you that return just means when this function runs, when it executes, it's going to give back the result of whatever that is.
The result will be the ayarlayacaq
Ce? Ce. Ai mergi ca funcție. So, ai mergi funcție. Now, let's run the function. Let's execute the function. Okay. Remember this box. You should make us ice sucker. Let's go. Ice sucker. Okay. That's obvious, yes? Good. Alright, now, we need to be able to run the function, to execute the function, to tell this code to actually go. Alright? Question is, how do we do that? If we just write A, that's just referring to the function. A is a function, okay? So what? I have to somehow tell it A, like, go, run, execute. Not quite. Interesting. Good effort. Okay. What you do is you call the function. The way you call the function or execute the function is by doing open close parentheses. This means execute the function. This means run the function. So now, if I were to put a const z to the left of it, and I do console.log z,